Hi, it's Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead. Today we'll be making fried apples. I like to use pink lady apples. You want to get an apple that is going to hold its shape when you fry it. You wouldn't want to use an apple that's just going to totally fall apart. I think Pink Lady's a good one, or you can also use Jana Gold is really good as we're coming up onto the apple season. That's like one of my favorite and best. So first we go ahead and I'm going to cut off all the skin of the apple. We're back. I went ahead and peeled off all the skin of the apples, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut them. And again, we want to make sure we're leaving the core. We don't want to cut that. And again, this is where if you want bigger pieces, you can have bigger pieces. It's up to you. Or I'm going to make mine a little bit somewhat thick. It's not as thick, but you could have thick, or thin there. It's up to you. I would want to have a little bit of thickness. And I'm going to cut all these apples and put them in here in a bowl. And then we're going to add some sugar. There's all the apple slices in the bowl. And I'm just going to take a little bit of sugar. This is where you're going to have to, depending on what you want in there, it's up to you. I don't really have a certain measurement. I honestly just sprinkle a little bit of sugar over them. I don't want it overly poweringly sweet. And just put that over your apples. Kind of stir a little bit if you can. And then I'm going to go ahead and I've got my skillet over here. I'm actually using, this skillet is pretty old. It is, I don't know if anybody's heard of it, Visions cookware. It's actually from the 90s. And I put butter in there and I have it on, let's say low. I'm going to probably have to turn up the heat to medium. It just seems like when I cook my fried apples, they taste better in a glass frying pan rather than if I use stainless steel. I could be wrong about that, but just for me, that they just seems to taste a whole lot better. So I'm going to put those in there. I am going to put the lid on too, but first I'm going to go ahead and put some spice. Now I just use all apple pie spice. Apple pie spice has cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice in it. And this is the one I will be using. Again, you could just use cinnamon and sprinkle it. You could use nutmeg and sprinkle it. Again, it's just whatever you want to do. And I'm pretty generous with it. I'll put, a little bit there. And then I'll just keep on stirring a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and cook this down. I may have to add a little bit more butter too as well. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on now and have it cook a little bit. And I'll check back on it in a little bit, maybe 5 minutes. I'm adding a little bit more butter to the apple mixture. And I did turn up the heat. It's still on, not quite medium. Still a little bit low. I'm going to just stir again. I wish you guys could smell through the video because it just smells like homemade apple pie, just without the crust. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on and I'm going to cook it a little bit longer. They have cooked for about 5 minutes, but I'm still going to cook a little bit more because I do not want them to be like, crunchy, like you just cut an apple. I do want it to have a little bit where you bite into it and it's a little bit more tender. So I'm going to probably do it again, cook it a little bit longer, maybe another 4 minutes. Just keep on, and then I'll put the lid back on. The lid hopefully, creates steam that should make them become a little bit softer. The apples are all done now. I probably did it maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Again, if I turned up the heat, might have cooked a little bit faster, but I was afraid that they would burn. But as you can see, they're more of a deeper golden color than they were before. When you cut them, they were kind of a white. This was 4 apples. And I mean, I figure 1 apple per person. Now it's only me and my husband, but we can eat a generous amount, and we can also have some leftovers. And so, that would be good. So if you're going to have more people, I'm going to say if you're going to have like a big crowd of I'm going to say at least 10 people, I usually fix the whole 3-pound bag and usually have absolutely no leftovers when I fry them for my family. Fried apples are really good just as a, to put with the meal on the side. I've also taken fried apples and put them over ice cream. They are really, really good. I've also put apples on top of pancakes. I make a pancake. It's called a Swedish pancake, which I will have the recipe in the next couple of weeks, where I'd actually take these fried apples and put them in the center of the pancake and roll it up and then put syrup on it, and that's good too as well. So if you like what you're seeing today, please hit the subscribe button down below. This was Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead. I hope you have a good day.